Yo, what's up, everybody?
Really?
Hi, welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost. I was just trying something different.
We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsey.
And we veto what just happened.
You tried, you failed. I didn't even know we were starting because you were like, yo. I was like, hey.
Listen, I was just trying something out. You gotta try it out. You never know.
I might have given them too much wine. So sorry.
Gave us.
It was a, yo, welcome.
We've had at least a bottle and a half, if not 2 bottles by now.
Okay, between the two of us. It's fine.
Yes.
The 3 of us. Yeah, it's fine.
I had my own drinks.
We had to run to Quick Trip to get some snackage for me. To get some snack food for me because I was like,
snackage?
Y'all.
By run, she means like walk. We literally
walked because none of us could drive at this point.
That's true, but it was also a little bit too far of a walk, if you ask me.
I mean, it's.
I felt like it was an appropriate amount of walk, but okay.
I could have napped here.
It's just down the street.
I could have napped.
I could have napped because, let's be honest, I carried a drink and Lindsay knocked it out of my hand.
She did. She straight up Patrick's you.
What in the actual?
Sarah was showing off how the drink can go inside her sleeve, and Lindsay straight up smacked that sleeve.
I had a huge sleeve. It was a huge gaping sleeve.
Can you stop saying gaping?
It was a gaping hole.
I thought that the drink was higher up in her sleeve than it was, so I just went to like bat her sleeve, like jokingly.
Straight up flicked it.
The drink goes on the ground. 80% of it is now still on the ground.
But I bought her an energy drink that we were splitting, which, by the way, here, have some.
And I said, yeah, that'll totally be half of whatever you spilled. It's fine. I really don't care. It's not that.
Moral of the story is I'm feeling a little bit like I can make it through this episode.
Oh, hallelujah.
I was like,
oh, good. Thank you.
Guys, I'm not going to make it through this episode with how much I've had to drink.
That's true.
Oh, sorry. You're going to get lots of that.
Side note, she's had 2 glasses of wine.
No. We split an entire bottle between the two of us, so like my glass of wine was filled to the brim.
Can I be honest with you? Like, I can totally crush a full bottle.
I can crush a full bottle and I will be feeling it. Hardcore.
Okay. You had half a bottle.
I know. And I also had a White Claw.
Oh my god.
I am a lightweight, guys. I have said this from the beginning. I cannot handle my alcohol. If you
that's
give me
true.
a bottle of wine, I'm going to be like tipsy. Like the room is spinning.
Well, we wore our Tipsy Ghost masks
to
Quick Trip. It was kind of cute.
We all wore our matching masks.
Oh,
We didn't even talk about that. Boydson.
Yes.
You got us
Tell us
masks.
your secret.
I got the masks. I got all of us masks, and on the side, they have our logo on them.
Boydson got us all masks, and it was such a sweet surprise. I loved it. I'm so excited to wear it.
Yeah. Can you please post our response, I guess? You videoed it, and I'm saying I guess because I look like an idiot.
I kind of want to see it to make sure that I don't have something on my lips. I went to the bathroom after all of this, and I had like street tacos in my car. And I had a little bit of cilantro from the Pico on my lip. And nobody told me anything.
No. You came out and you said, did I have anything on my mouth? And I was like, I don't think so. And Sarah's like, yeah, you totally did.
She didn't tell me. And she was like, I was like, let me see the picture to make sure it's not in the picture. And she's like, we're wearing our masks in the pictures. But now I'm like, Boydson was recording us the entire time.
Here, let me check.
It was at least 20 minutes that I was talking to them about how horrible of a week I've had, and she's just staring at the cilantro on my lip.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong. You're a horrible friend. Can you see it in the video?
Lindsay, that's hurtful.
That doesn't mean anything.
You're not a horrible friend, but
You said it multiple times.
You should have told me. You should have told me.
Listen, this is the reason. You were telling me a very emotional story. I'm not going to stop you mid-sentence and be like, yo, Lindsay, you've got some cilantro on your
Could you have at least said something?
No, because I don't care.
Before she started recording us.
I don't actually know if I noticed before she recorded. Okay. I did notice before the pictures. But we had a mask on.
Oh, here's the good news. It's from far away, and you guys immediately put your masks on.
Okay, good.
It'll be fine.
As long as nobody notices.
Well, you just pointed it out, but it's probably going to be fine.
Honestly, it was like the world's tiniest.
It was not very big. No, it was very small. I only noticed it.
I wish I would have noticed.
I questioned it.
I went to the bathroom to pee, and I was washing my hands, and I saw it right away when I looked in the mirror. I was like, these two jerks.
I didn't even see it.
No, I know you didn't.
I did.
Sarah's like, I did.
I did, but I was like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait because you were talking to me and things were fine. And I'm not going to be like, yo, Lindsay, stop what you're saying.
Your story and...
you got cilantro on your lip.
Boyd's
looking back,
attention. She's watching the video of us.
Looking back, that apparently that's what I should do. I don't know. I'm learning. I don't know what to do.
I'm learning. Don't laugh when they fall. Point out the cilantro on the lip.
I'm human, okay? I don't know what to do. I don't like conflict. So yeah, I'm learning how to be a normal human.
So step 1 is try and get up the courage to tell somebody when they've got some food on their face.
So it's not even that. Like, I wouldn't feel
food
nervous.
on your face. You big disgrace.
If she wasn't telling me
kicking your can all over the place.
We will. Okay.
Sorry. Like, if you were telling me that story, I'd be like, stop right there. You've got cilantro on your lip. Okay. But it wasn't that. It was a very emotional story. It was sad. And I'm not going to stop you and be like, you know what? Can you stop right there? You've got cilantro.
She might have appreciated that.
She might have. The mood for my story.
But also, I was looking at it thinking...
You were looking at it? Oh my gosh.
She was staring at it.
This is getting worse and worse.
I was thinking... I did notice, and I was like, is that, like, something she's embarrassed about?
It was something I didn't know about.
I get that now. But I didn't want to call attention to it. I was trying to be a good friend.
She's trying to save your feelings.
Yes, and as a result, I ended up being a bad friend. So I'm trying. I don't know how. I don't know what to do.
Do you want me, for future purposes, do you want me to tell you if you have food on your face?
Yeah, but tell me, like, tactfully. That's what I was trying to do. Tell me tactfully, not in the middle of my fucking story. Like, yo, you got fucking cilantro on your lip.
I would never say it like that. Do you know me?
Okay, that's what I was trying not to do.
I wasn't telling you to tell me like that, but you didn't even tell me at all.
I didn't know how. And then the story ended, and then I got weird. And then I was like, it's just us three. She'll figure it out.
That's my thing. You didn't tell me at all. Yes, I agree with you. Tell me tactfully.
Okay, I make things weird. Here's how I would have said it.
She's just pointing to her lip.
Her nostrils flared a little bit.
I had a friend at work the other day. He was like, you have dry skin on your nose.
Oh my god, see?
Just randomly out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, thank you.
See, I would never do that.
I know. I was like, I just pulled my mask up over my mouth.
See, no, there are things
as
in
you
there
should,
and things.
because
cilantro was
should
a
be worn
thing.
at all times.
I was taking a drink of water when I pulled it down.
Were you?
I was. Can you stop looking at me like that?
I would never say that. Also, who cares about that?
What's that noise?
It's eating. It's food eating.
It's food. He's fooding, okay? Brutus is fooding.
Right.
He's fooding. I just fooded.
I just did not food. So, everything's fine.
Maybe you should food.
I did food earlier. I ate a lot of food.
What'd you guys have at dinner?
Tacos.
Oh, we had some bomb-ass queso fundido.
Oh
and
my
it
gosh,
was
so good.
amazing.
I had street tacos.
10 out of 10.
They were fast food street tacos. So I bet yours were better.
Well, I didn't have street tacos, but...
Do you have a quesadilla?
No, try again.
Ooh, what'd you have?
Okay, I'll tell you. I had shrimp and crab enchiladas.
I should have guessed shrimp something. Did you have fajitas? Tacos?
Good guess. Tacos, yes.
Oh.
It was a street taco. Chicken.
I love street tacos.
I don't... I mean, I'm pretty predictable.
Street tacos are my fave. That's what I always get. Although I did get fajitas the other day. Those were good.
Oh my God. God? Is that you?
It's me, Margaret.
What are you talking about?
You know Judy
Did you
Blume?
read that book, Judy Blume?
No.
Are you there,
I
God,
know
it's
a
me,
thing.
Margaret?
I know a thing.
You do.
I don't know what you're talking
My
about.
favorite book when growing up was We're All in This Together. I would read it every year before going back to school.
I don't know if I read that. I was really into the Babysitter's Club.
You have to.
I was really into Babysitter's Club.
I don't
That's
think
what
I
read.
want to.
And
Just to
Sweet
be
Valley
stubborn.
High. I read Sweet Valley High a lot.
No.
I've got some original Nancy Drews from like the 60s or
I
something.
did read that in the Boxcar Children.
I mean, I read the Boxcar Children because I'm
Yes.
from the 80s, so like I totally get it.
I read those. And Babysitter's Club. And
I mean, I read those, but what the fuck are you talking about?
Judy
Are You
Blume.
There?
Did you read Judy Blume? No. Okay, she wrote a book called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
And she burps?
No,
No.
she doesn't. She just said, Are you there, God? And I said, It's me, Margaret. We were just filling each other's sentences.
Wow.
No, she doesn't burp.
I'm let down.
We harmonized.
Yeah.
I thought-
It wasn't
I
about a burp
thought-
at all. Sorry that set you off.
I thought I would be excited by that, but
No,
here we
sorry.
Okay.
are. Okay. Are we ready to talk about?
What are we talking about today? Hang on. Let Lindsay do it. She's really
Let's
pumped
do it.
about introducing our stories.
Bow, bow, bow.
I'm on the spot and I'm nervous. We are doing the Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri!
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about our ghost adventure hunt that we went on.
Wait, don't ghost adventure.
Okay,
It's a trademark.
We are talking about our ghost hunting that we went on in Springfield, Missouri at the Pythian Castle.
That might also be a trademark.
Okay, what should I say? We were talking about the...
The things.
Paranormal investigation.
Oh, it's boring. We were talking about the time that we went and talked to some ghosts at Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri.
All the thing. All of that seems to apply.
And we were super excited to go here because this is the place that got delayed because we were supposed to go to it in March, right before shutdown.
Yep.
And so we got told we can't go there because of everything going on in March, which totally understand.
Hashtag COVID.
Hashtag COVID, hashtag Rona. This was our rescheduled place, so we got to go there in August. And we were very excited because we'd been waiting months to go.
Right. And so I had to do the history here, and I have a little bit of a complex because every time I tell a story, my friends yawn.
Okay.
Bitches.
Not true.
I'm not feeling very yawny today.
I literally drank half an energy drink with you, so I'm good.
Are we ready
I'm ready.
to travel to...
Springfield, Missouri.
We are going to the Pythian home of Missouri, also known as the Pythian Castle, which is located in Springfield, Missouri.
It's a
And-
castle.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with where this is, it's approximately 150 miles southeast from Kansas City. I took this from our friend Boydston, who had to give us a
That's me.
PowerPoint.
That's me.
I don't have a PowerPoint because I can't figure it out.
I know where Springfield is. It's okay.
So,
I know, but
fun
I'm
fact,
talking to everybody.
Okay, sorry.
PowerPoint on Mac is Keynote.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Good to know.
Yep,
I don't know these things. I'm new.
I got you.
I'm fresh. The castle was built by the Knights of Pythias, so I was unfamiliar with this group, and I had to look it up, of course. The Knights of Pythias were a fraternal order along the same lines as the Masons' secret society.
I love a good secret society.
She does.
And the Masons were a secret society.
Can we form a a secret society?
As of now,
I mean, we can't talk about it on the podcast. 'Cause
We
then
have
it's not a
formed-
secret.
we have formed a secret society. Don't tell anyone.
Guys, don't tell anybody.
It's a secret.
At one point, they were one of the largest fraternal orders in the country, and they are one of the oldest. They were apparently founded in 1864.
Oh, wow.
The fraternal order follows three principles, can't speak: friendship, charity, and benevolence.
Ooh, those are good principles.
What a
better
fun
than-
word to say.
It's better than malevolence.
When the idea for building the castle in Missouri.
That was a good point.
Good point.
That's what I add to the podcast.
I had to smooth over it. All right. So when the idea for building the castle in Missouri came up, Springfield was in competition with several other cities, but the city officials really wanted it to be there. So basically, that's where it ended up. The Chamber of Commerce raised the money to buy 53 acres and sold it to the Knights for a whopping $1.
What?
True story.
When was this? You said in the 1800s?
Don't ask questions.
Okay, sorry. But still, $1 for 53 acres?
It was the early 1900s. Because,
Okay, but
here,
still.
let me tell you something. Just let me talk.
Okay,
How about
sorry.
you listen?
I'm sorry.
Lindsey?
I'm sorry that I have a lot of questions because I'm interested.
I appreciate your
Fun
interest.
fact. I was named the most curious 7th grader in
Oh my god, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
The most curious award.
How did their eyes fall out?
I asked so many questions.
Could you not ask questions?
Could you not slam your drink down?
I have an inquisitive mind, okay? I'm not going to apologize for wanting to know things.
All right,
That's why I read
that's
so
what we're
much.
going to go with.
That's why I read so much. Okay, go on. Hashtag fun fact.
His eyes fell out.
Hashtag fun fact. His eyes fell out.
It was one eye.
Even better. His eye fell off.
Singular. Are you done? Are you okay?
So much wheezing.
I know.
It's so funny when I can hear my own self and then I laugh harder.
$1.
All right, $1. It took the Knights 20 years to raise about $75,000 to build the house that looked like a castle. The total cost ended up being about $100,000 and was built between 1911 and 1913. The castle is 3 stories and it is approximately 27,000 square feet. So tiny.
Some would argue 3 1/4.
It's only 27. Okay, 27,000. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kidding. It's huge.
Yeah. I was like...
I'm being facetious.
No, I was thinking when you said small, I was thinking 2,700. I was like, no, it's way bigger than 2,700.
27,000. It's huge.
Okay, yeah, it is big.
So the castle was originally built as an orphanage and senior citizens' home for its members and their families. This was before Social Security, and the lodges were seen as a way to offer members security for their old age. If a member died, his children could go live in the castle and be cared for, but the widowed wives were not allowed.
No.
In 1942, during World War II, the U.S. military acquired the property, and the Knights were only given 5 days to evacuate. The castle became part of the O'Reilly General Hospital complex and was used for offices and as a service club for recovering injured veterans from World War II. So on Friday nights, they would have bands perform, and there were dances held for the officers. So basically, they would have parties on Friday nights.
Mm.
The O'Reilly Service Club was boasted as being the best in the country and contained what was called the Theater 1 for the showing of the latest movies, pool rooms, and a bowling alley in the basement.
Ooh, I didn't know there was a bowling alley in the basement.
Yep. It also had music rooms, a library, sitting lounges, ballrooms, and many more.
Oh,
a book
room. Me and you were both like, oh, a library.
I'm like, skip over.
I just want to smell all the books.
Oh, I do too.
my
That's my
God.
favorite. We were just talking about this at work. That's my favorite smell. And if they could make a candle that smelled like freshly printed books,
Like tobacco?
I would be,
No, like when
leather?
you open a book,
pages
just
and-
stick your face in it.
It's in a brand new book. Oh
Get the
my
fuck
gosh.
out of here.
Go to Barnes & Noble and go sniff some books and tell me I'm wrong.
That's my drug.
Your candle name is Barnes & Noble.
I would literally
mean,
love it if Barnes & Noble made a
Barnes &
candle of
Noble
books.
pages.
They do make a candle, but it's not books.
Yeah. I have
All right,
yet
so
to
here you
find
go.
one.
It's called
guys, if you
Book
guys have heard
Pages.
of a Book Pages
Book
candle,
pages, yeah.
please let me know. I will
Please hold,
buy
I'm
it.
going to Google.
Okay, you
Go
Google
on.
while you keep going.
The complex was also used as a prisoner of war facility. They were
Mhm.
used for labor-related duties throughout the complex. The guard house also contained prisoner cells as well. After World War II, it remained in military hands for several years as an Army Reserve center. And in 1980, it was leased to the, here we go for our acronym, Ozarks Area Community Action Corporation, or OACAC.
Okay.
OCAC.
Okay.
Wakak.
Remind me, you guys might remember this better because my memory sucks. It's right by, like, National Guard or something, right?
Yeah, it is.
There's
it's on the base,
Yeah, there's an army base, like, right next to the castle.
Yep. So in 1993, the military sold the property as surplus through an auction, and it was purchased for $4,000 by a farmer. He used it as his home, but soon realized that it was way too much work for
$4,000?
Yeah. And he lived there, like, by himself or with his family and realized, like, this is way too much upkeep.
Yeah, let me just live in a 23,000 square foot house. 27,000, sorry. That's huge.
So he was like, too much.
Yeah.
Can't deal with this. So he sold it to its now current owner in 2003, and it was open to the public in 2010. The current owner has copies of 80 death certificates. The cause of deaths range from tuberculosis to suicide. So, yeah, it's hard to say. So some of them are natural causes, and there is definitely one that is caused by a suicide, which is said to be by a razor blade to his own throat.
Like, took a razor blade and slit his own throat? Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So,
that's a bad way to go.
Right. The castle itself, the main building, was designated to give the appearance of a castle, which I think we've drilled into home a couple times.
Drilled into home.
Yeah, we've drilled that into home. Fuck you, Lindsey.
Drilled at home, not into home. Sorry.
I'm drilling it.
She's drilling it into the home, y'all.
The main floor has a grand foyer, meeting room, ballroom, dining room, and sitting parlors. This is where I said the fun fact. The dining hall was fairly large, and this is where we met in between our investigation spots. And they would sometimes use it for boxing matches.
Oh, that is a fun fact. And they also have weddings there, too, don't they?
Yeah, this is definitely like an event space.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
This spot where we would meet in between our investigation times. So beyond the dining hall was another cooking area / food area that also had stairways that led upstairs and then downstairs. Okay. The second floor was designed with dormitory-style rooms for children and bedrooms for adults.
Right.
The second floor also had a theater with a ticket booth, a large seating area, similar to what you would see like at a movie theater nowadays, an upper projection area and a lighting room, as well as changing rooms and a backstage area.
And that's like where people would get married, like the ceremony.
Yes.
I remember. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So there's also a tower from the second floor that can be accessed. I don't really know what it was used for, other than it was staged with tarot cards. And we did a really great impromptu tarot reading, which we did a great job of.
I think we did a fantastic job there.
Just going to say
it was terrible. It was terrible.
I thought you were making a pun, but
terrible.
I want to make sure. Terrible.
Oh, I liked
it. That was great. Great. I thought it was good. I mean, we were Googling what the tarot cards meant. And we didn't know.
Mine were not good.
No, yours sucked.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember.
I blanked it out of my memory.
They were very, like, depressing. And, like, doom is coming.
Well, here we are.
Yep.
It's 2020.
Here we go. So in the basement, there's a kitchen area and a quote-unquote gymnasium, which was originally the area that was a large room where the kids would come down and play. And there are also a few random gargoyles staged around the area. I don't know if you guys remember that too.
I remember
gargoyles.
What?
I think I got a couple... She's trying to be funny. I got a couple pictures of them.
Did you say gorillas? I was so confused.
She said gargoyles, but in a weird accent.
It said gargorillas.
It was very uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable.
Gargorillas.
Gargoyles.
That's what I heard.
That is exactly not what I said.
Okay,
what did you say?
Gargoyles.
Okay, excuse me for misunderstanding
that. Clarifies it so
yes.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I do remember
For
this.
real, though, tell me what the fuck you said.
There was giant statues around, and I remember one of them looked like the rock guy from Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, I kept saying that. That looks like Thor Ragnarok. So, once the army bought the building, they constructed cells that were used to house prisoners of war. It's reported that German, Italian, and Japanese prisoners were held down there, but there are no details about how long or why they were held there. Weird. Prisoners of wars, POWs. Can I say that? POWs.
POWs. I think people know what that means.
Yeah.
POWs.
No.
I don't know what to do. You guys confused.
POWs. I agree.
POWs were also housed in a smaller building behind the castle. They would go back and forth between the smaller building and the castle by using an underground tunnel that connected between the buildings. Do you remember this?
I do. I was going to say, do we remember tunnel? Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
That was the... Okay, we'll get to that.
It was betwixt the buildings.
It was betwixt. Yeah.
I remember
That's
this.
the best way to explain it.
We'll get to that.
There's also a dungeon that may have been used to interrogate the POWs. And this is also where Lindsey may have bit the dust and earned the title of the most clumsy.
Dun,
Okay.
dun, dun. Lindsey bites the nuts.
This is where Lindsey sprained her ankle.
I included that in my notes. I hope you know.
Lindsey bites the dust or Lindsey sprained her ankle?
Lindsey bites the dust. Down. A Lindsey bites the dust.
Sorry. Okay.
And a Lindsey doesn't.
Lindsey bites the dust.
We will come back to that. Can't wait to talk about this. Just can't wait as I am still sitting here. How long is this now? It's been a month and a half.
See a doctor.
It's been a month and a half since we have been to Pythian that we're recording this at this point. I am still wearing an ankle brace at this point in my life. I still cannot go for runs.
I see your brace and I raise you a doctor.
She told me to go to a doctor, and I'm too cheap to do that.
Time for an X-ray. All right,
so it's still sprained.
Lindsey did earn herself the title of the most clumsy of TTG.
I have been saying I'm the most clumsy for the longest time. I fully own that.
So, the paranormal history of the Pythian Castle. So, okay, during the filming of season 15, episode 5, I almost said 15, of Ghost Adventures.
Zach. We were on two different wavelengths.
I think that was adequate.
Yeah. I was singing his name and you just went off on your own thing.
I don't know what happened, but
I don't
either
know
way,
either.
it's adequate. Both of them. A whistle. I feel like this is like a meh compared to that.
We bolted up.
Yeah, you guys bolted up. And it was like a small whistle and a disembodied voice that can be heard during an interview.
Which I really want to hear a whistle.
You know what, though? I love a good disembodied voice.
I do too. And oddly enough, this disembodied voice they think is German. Wow. All right, so...
Sorry. That was weird.
All of this is weird.
You wouldn't be listening to us if you weren't a little weird too.
One of the tour guides feels like she's actually drawn to the house. She was house sitting for the owner with her brother, and she claims that the dogs ran upstairs and began making strange noises when they got to the bedroom, almost like they were warning them not to come in. That night, she said they were both awakened by a whistling noise. Get out of here. No whistlings.
I want to hear that.
So
I mean, we've heard it in EVP recordings, but not like in real life.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we hear them there. People have reported hearing singing, a child's voice call out, smelling perfume upstairs, and pipe tobacco in the basement. This is all according to Ghost Adventures. So this is our tour guide, and our investigation. They said in the dining room, there have been reports of chairs moving and orbs. And fun fact, they would occasionally use the space to hold boxing matches. So that's where I thought I said it twice.
Ding ding.
You did say it twice, but I enjoy hearing that both times.
It's also still a fun fact, so.
It is still a fun fact.
Nobody lost an eye.
Maybe they
go to
did.
A boxing match? I would love to see that.
They might have lost an eye. You never know. In the back room where meals are prepared, a whistle can be heard and phones are often shut down. There are feelings of being uneasy, unsettled, and dowsing rods are very active, and people often report feeling sick.
Okay.
In the basement, there is the kitchen area, and there is also a tunnel that links the kitchen area and a small, I don't know how else to explain it, but besides a small like room that connects the building to the back building.
But they've closed off the tunnel now, so you just hit a wall.
Well, yeah, you can still go down part way in the tunnel.
Right, but you just hit a wall now.
But like even between like the area where you go downstairs to the kitchen area, there's a small little tunnel area.
Yeah.
And then a small room, and then a tunnel area back there again.
Which we almost didn't find the tunnel because we
corridor.
were like,
because we thought we had hit the tunnel.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even want to say an electrical room, but like
I don't know how
cement room that has
I
don't know how to explain it. A lot of pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's like kind of a step down from there that leads towards the tunnel.
Right, yeah. Remember we thought we had hit the end of it all, and then we realized that there's more to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, so that's what I'm talking about. So this is where William committed suicide by slicing his own throat with a razor.
Ugh.
And even further back is the tunnel that we are talking about that connected the two buildings.
Right.
That now leads to nowhere because they have now blocked it off because the building further back is still owned by the army or the military. So there is an entity in that tunnel known as Mr. Boots because you can hear his footsteps in those hallways. In the gymnasium, the tour guide said that there were 60 Italian POW kept here. Now, whether there were that many or not, I don't know. Small children's voices can be heard calling out. The area is actually pretty cold, and it's said to have lots of energy, and lots of shadow figures are said to be seen in this area. There is a cell down there where a Japanese POW was kept, and he wrote some gibberish on the wall and drew some pictures. They have tried to bring some experts in to explain what he wrote, but they cannot figure it out. Do you guys remember this part?
Yes. I have pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's carved onto the walls, and they said it was basically when they brought interpreters in, it was like gibberish.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yep. You're exactly right.
That didn't make sense.
All right. So in this room, there's also a green door that leads to nowhere.
Yep.
And apparently it's supposed to access the boys' dorm room.
Interesting that a POW's room would access the boys' dorm, but okay.
It didn't, but it's supposed to. All right. There are also single men dorm rooms in the basement. It's reported that electronics stop working. There's a smell of pipe tobacco, and people have reported feelings of hands on their hip like a small child. In the upstairs theater, the area was actually used for funerals and weddings, and giggling and crying is heard up there. People have also said that they've heard a ventriloquist dummy, which how do you know? That's what I'm saying. There's a child spirit named Petey who did not die at the castle, but's known to haunt it. And there are large letter blocks in the boys' dorm room that spelled the word, I see you die.
Yeah, that was really creepy. And they're huge blocks.
Yeah.
They're tall.
They're taller than I am.
Yeah.
The whole stack.
I don't want you guys to think little toy blocks.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. They're big. People have reported hearing a bear, like a stuffed bear that talks on its own. Uncontrollable crying. They have feelings of being tapped. They say that spitballs have been thrown on them on their back.
No, thank you.
And on the back of their head. And footsteps have been heard running in the boys' dorm. In the tower room, there are supposedly military police officers who haunt the room. So that's what we got for the history of the Pythian Castle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And first off, let's start with saying, this place, we call it Pythian Castle. It looks like a castle. It's all stone, cement.
Yeah, on the outside, it definitely looks like a castle.
It's
and
a
I don't
really
know.
Cool building.
I guess I don't know what I was expecting on the inside. Maybe like knights or something. But
Knights at the round table.
But on the outside, it definitely looks like
Knights at the Round Table.
castle.
Where do I get that from?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna follow up with that.
But the ground floor, which you kind of talked about, a lot of it's like the meeting room where we met, and then the dining area and all of that.
So the meeting room was actually the women's dorm.
Yes.
And so in the women's dorm, we spent just a little bit of time in here and listening back to the recordings. We didn't get any EVPs, but Sarah, you noted hearing a sound.
In that room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In that room. Do you guys remember anything else significant?
I don't know.
I mean, nothing really.
We didn't spend a lot of time there, though.
We spent time initially there,
Mm-hmm.
and then we came back to it just for a few minutes later, but not a ton.
And the dining hall area is really where we gathered, like, during breaks to have snacks and stuff like that. So it wasn't, like, really, like, an investigating room.
Right.
You know?
There was a section behind the dining room
Mm-hmm.
where, I don't know if it was a sitting area or just an extension of the dining room, but we do have some orbs or anomalies captured on the camera that we'll upload.
Okay.
And then, is this a good time to talk about the stairs?
Yeah, let's go. So
Which
back by
stairs?
that area is where there's a staircase. There's several staircases, too. So this is like the back staircases that we used to go up. And this is kind of the second floor behind the theater that we talked about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we went first as a break off into groups. So we're still in groups at this point in time.
There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms back there. Or 3 rooms and a bathroom.
Three or 4 in a bathroom, yeah.
Yeah. So we had 3 or 4 bedrooms back there, and then a bathroom as well, and then the hallway eventually leads to a door, and you open the door, and that's literally like the back of the stage.
Right.
Like you run into the curtains.
I think they use it as like a changing area.
Yeah, it's like a changing area, and like when they have weddings there, it's like where the bride and the groom get dressed and all that stuff.
Yeah, but like also when they use the stage area.
Right. It's a changing room, yeah.
Yeah.
They talked about the bathroom the night before. They had a lot of experiences there with like people hearing stuff in the bathtub and feeling these sensations of things in the mirrors and things like that. So we spent some time in the bathroom there by just the 3 of us on the floor.
Yeah, we didn't get anything via EVP. We did get a few orbs. I will take this time to say that we rarely had the opportunity to catch anything via EVP because it was a struggle. It was very loud.
The hardcores were out in full force at Pythian.
We were trying hard to be super.
It was
polite.
the hardcores. It was the noobs. We were trying to be patient, but we were also struggling with, you know, their experience versus our experience. You know, we all paid for this experience, and it was just very loud, and there was not a single moment of silence when we broke off into groups.
There wasn't until we went off on our own.
And it was very frustrating, to be completely honest with you. And this is one of the times that kind of drove it home that we should probably do a lot more private investigations if we are able to.
Right.
So we did our best to investigate on our own without any interruption, but the background noise is just a lot. So EVPs are essentially non-existent.
Right.
Like I said, though, we did get a few orbs and some light anomalies, and that's essentially it on that back half of the second floor up those back stairs.
Right.
So we ended up going back down the stairs to the ground level and going up the main staircase, and that way you can kind of get a full picture of everything. Do you guys want to go to the theater room first?
Just to pause at those stairs, there's stairs going up either side of the
it's like a grand
either
staircase.
side of it, and there's light anomalies / orbs on there as well, and those are differing in color, which kind of help reinforce the validity of them. So I kind of enjoyed seeing those. But yeah, let's head into the theater and talk about that.
So the theater room, this is kind of where we talked about weddings and funerals are held here. And there's a stage, and then there's like seating as well, kind of like a theater, like what you would expect. With some, there's like 2 walkways. And so we kind of like segregated ourselves a little bit. Like, I think I was on the stage for a little bit, and you guys were in the audience on like separate sides of the auditorium, so that way we could really hear. And we were in there with 2 other people who were not hardcores, who were pretty serious about gathering evidence as well, and did an EVP session. What did you guys experience there? I know there's some shadows, right?
There were shadows, and one of the guys that were with us is a lot like Lindsey. He tries to debunk anything when he can.
I liked him.
And yeah, he had me move around. Sure. He had Lindsey move around. We were the only ones in a position that could project shadow.
Right.
And we were not the ones projecting these shadows.
Yeah. Neither one of us was moving during that time.
Right. So we had shadows. There were times when we heard almost footsteps or clunking, I guess.
Kind of like heavy footsteps.
Yeah.
But we couldn't pinpoint where those were really coming from in the room. And we were all, like I said, we were all spaced out around the room, and we couldn't pinpoint where they were coming from.
No, none of us could, which is pretty bizarre with each of us. We thought like I could point somewhere and the other person would point to the same spot, but we couldn't ever figure out where it was coming from. We could just all hear it. Right.
It was a pretty active room, I would say. And we ended up going there a couple times.
Yeah.
We ended up going back there, I think. It's just a really cool room,
Sarah, you had your feeling.
Shocker.
A few times, but the people we were with also had a tell.
Yeah.
One of the guys has a tell where he gets kind of like a tickle in his throat, and he gets a cough almost.
I like the way you say that. It's like a little sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys almost got it at the same time one point.
Yeah, we did.
And right afterwards it was, I of course couldn't catch it on recording, but we all at the same time said like, wait, did you guys hear footsteps? And and it was right after they both mentioned like, oh, Sarah's like, I feel this tingling on my head, and this guy's like, you hear him coughing, so.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and on the tour, they also talked about how there's a lot of EVPs recorded in that room as well. Voices, screams, things like that. So
footsteps,
Footsteps. Yeah. It's a pretty active room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most active, I would say.
And they also mentioned that you can capture a lot of photographs with
soldiers.
Yeah, people, not human, in them. I don't believe we captured any of those, which huge bummer, but not for lack of trying.
We tried, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we left that room after a little bit after our EVP session. I went into the block room, the ICU die room.
That was the
Petey's
dormitory.
Room.
Yeah, Petey's room,
the boys' dorm.
And I went in there by myself for a little while, and it's a pretty massive sized room. Like, it's big. And they had talked about, and you kind of touched on this, that people run out of this room.
Yeah.
She said she's had people when they've been leading tours and people have just like dropped down to the floor and started crying, like overwhelmed by emotion. So I went in there by myself, and there's some like toy cars, like little race cars lined up, and like a couple balls to try to get Petey to play with you. And so I went in there and did my own little session.
Balls.
They weren't cat balls. They were like actual like little balls just for him to roll around. And so I went in there with PD for a little bit. I didn't get anything. I don't think I got anything on EVP either.
No, not that I have heard so far. There is one time when we all go back in there that I still have to listen to. They do mention that they've heard him on recordings say goodnight whenever they say goodnight, PD, and as they're leaving the room, and he'll say goodnight.
Yeah. So I didn't get anything there. There's another, couple bedrooms up there. I don't think we really spent much time in there. We went up to the tower and did some tarot reading.
We did
a great job.
So there's some tarot cards up there. And we all tried with each other, but we were like Googling because we didn't know what these tarot cards meant.
I'm sure there's recording of us up there.
There might be. I'm not sure. I haven't come across that yet.
Can you just disregard it?
It was.
I feel like we're all like, what is this tarot card mean?
Well, it's essentially, hey, Lindsey, Google this one.
Yeah, exactly.
And we describe the card.
Yeah, that's
and then
exactly
we're like,
what we
I feel like that matches our life.
What's the one with this X number of cups on it?
But so much of it is up to interpretation, and there's so much like you could say that could apply to everybody. Like it's vague enough.
Well, also like, is it upside down? Is it right side up? Like
we don't know tarot cards.
What does that mean?
We don't know how to do this.
Yeah. We don't know what we're doing, is what we're trying to say. So just disregard our tarot card investigation.
So we did that. And we didn't really spend all that much time upstairs. I mean, besides the theater room, we spent a lot of time in the theater room. But otherwise, we were mainly, I feel like, in the basement.
Yeah.
We were.
PD's room, theater room. Well, we spent a little time in, like, the main bedroom. Do you remember in the front bedroom?
Yeah, we did spend some time there.
Yeah. Not much.
Not much time there, though. So let's kind of take it all the way downstairs to the basement. Because this is the most interesting part. This is where the POWs were kept. This is, I mean, it's all cement. It's kind of more creepy. It feels like a jail, almost. Except there's no bars on the doors.
It is super creepy down there.
It's
I'm not gonna
super
lie.
creepy. It's super dark. There's no windows. There's no natural light.
It's all sectioned off.
It's all sectioned off. So, like, the first part, let's talk about the first part, which is where the gymnasium and the POWs were kept.
Yeah.
So, the gymnasium area. So, there's a moment where we'll get to in the POW room. But while that moment was happening, I left and was kind of wandering out in the main hall where the gymnasium is, kind of doing my own thing. And I did capture an EVP. And
What?
I say, what is this place to you? And I either get a response that says hope or home. One of the two. And so we'll insert it here. What is this place to you? What is this place to you? So that happened.
You were doing that while I think I was probably off investigating the other rooms, and Sarah was having an experience in one of the rooms.
Sarah was having an experience. So back to the gym, right before we go to the POW room, there were also some pretty nice light anomaly / orbs in the gymnasium area.
Interesting.
So I do feel like that's one of the more active spots.
Yeah.
So POW room.
Sarah.
That's one of the first places we went to whenever we went down there on our own. Initially, like I'm in the corner, just, I have the recorder out, you guys have the EMF detector, and you guys are kind of together. I see you guys are up against the wall, and I see this red light between you that's not from the EMF meter, it's not from anybody's phones, it's just this artificial light that doesn't have any source. And then all of a sudden this EMF detector just starts going crazy. And then that's when Sarah turns into Zach Bagans.
She went so hardcore on us.
I mean,
it was pretty cool.
I mean, was I wrong?
You weren't wrong, but like I think you weren't the only one in there. There was 2 other people in there.
Right.
Initially, it was just the 3 of us, and then other people started coming in.
And then I was like, I gotta leave. I can't handle all of this hardcore. I can handle one of you being hardcore, but like when 3 or 4 people come in, I'm like, I'm out.
I don't often get excited.
But tell us what you were feeling.
I was mostly just like, I don't know how else to explain it, but like I was just excited about, there was an energy on the wall, and
you had the EMF reader.
The EMF detector was changing.
Yeah, I think
it was validating my responses.
I think that's the thing. It was validating what you often feel like, am I crazy? Yes. But this was actually validating you, and I think that's what was most exciting for you.
And I'll say the EMF detector doesn't typically go off very often.
No, not ours. I always think that ours is broken, but this was ours, and it was
going crazy.
Yes, it was. Thank you. I appreciate that. And both of you left me because you thought I was
we
being
left
weird.
You once other people came in.
Once all these other people came in, they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" And A couple of them were hardcore, and I was just like...
But I needed you both there. You know how I am. I need you to validate
I'm
me.
sorry. I'm sorry I left you. I went to the other POW room.
We're validating you now.
I appreciate it.
And
it's
I got an EVP. You're welcome.
Oh, at that time?
That's while you were in there, I was out in the gymnasium.
That's when she got her gymnasium one.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm, that's so great. I love it.
So what were you feeling besides... I mean, obviously the EMF was going off, but...
So I really can't explain it other than just like, it feels like a flurry of energy.
Okay.
And like you're just sitting there and all of a sudden it's like a buzz.
Kind of like being bombarded, like how you were at Sally House, or different?
No, not like that. I don't know. It was different. It was different than that. It just felt like, it didn't feel negative at all.
Right.
It just felt like there was just a lot of people, I guess, around, a lot of things that wanted to like communicate energies. And talk. I don't know. I'm not an expert here.
No, I know.
But
none of us are.
It didn't feel negative. It didn't feel like they necessarily wanted to communicate one specific thing. It was just like a buzz of energy, and I could feel it. And I kept saying that, oh my gosh, I feel like this, oh my gosh, I feel like this buzz of energy, you know, and like when you're around a lot of people who are excited, that's exactly what it felt like. And
didn't you guys hear a bang in the room next to you at one point? Because I went in the room, I was like right outside the door, and I heard you guys say, oh, I heard that bang, blah, blah. And I heard it too. Yeah. So I went in the room next to you guys, and I was like walking all around the room by myself. Yeah. And couldn't figure out what it was. In there. Yeah. There was nobody in there, and I couldn't figure out where the banging came from. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There were a couple things that happened, but to be honest, I was just more focused on the energy, because for me, that's kind of more of a thing for me than like I can hear something in the moment. Anyways, that's what I can tell. There were people that were very excited about, like, I can hear things happening in other rooms. And one guy actually had to like step out. He got like, oh, I don't know what his deal was, but he was like, I need to leave. This is too much. Like he got overwhelmed? Yeah. Okay. And there was a lot happening in that room. And you spent a long time in that room. Yeah. Yeah. I went full Zach Bacons. She went hardcore on us. I tried not to. But it just happened. We couldn't get you to leave the room. Like, we kept saying, let's go investigate. I wasn't mad. Here. Finishing up you being in that room. Yeah. While you were doing that, Boyce and I kind of investigated the other POW rooms, the gymnasium, all of that stuff. That's where we got the EVP. Went in the Japanese room a little bit. Yeah. Creepy kind of vibe, but I wouldn't say like we got anything. What about the dungeon? We went there a lot. We went in the dungeon. So can I tell my funny story before we tell our embarrassing story? Okay. Go for it. So there's a dungeon that they used to interrogate POWs. That's what I wrote. And so we went in there, and there's a chair kind of in the middle. I was sitting in the chair. You guys were sitting on the wall. I know where you're going with this. Yes. And so I was wearing my hair down. If you guys haven't seen pictures of me, I have long. Why were you wearing your hair down? Because they said that they like to pull their hair. Mm-hmm. So Is that why you did that? Yes, because I had my hair up, and I put it down because they like to pull their hair. And I have long hair. So I was kind of sitting like a little bit hunched over where you couldn't see my face. My hair was like all hanging down. And we were doing an EVP session. We were talking, blah, blah, blah. And a guy from the group comes up to the door. And I should say, door. There's no door. It's like a cement doorway. And he comes up and he just sees me like hanging with my hair down. Like, looks like the girl from The Grudge. Oh my God. And he jumped back from the stairs. I went, oh my gosh. I literally freaked him out because he didn't know anyone was in there. And then he sees this girl hunched over with her hair hanging in her face. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So that's my funny story, is that I like grudged somebody and scared the bejesus out of him. You totally did. We caught that on recording. I thought that was funny. It was very funny. So right after that, we left that room, and that's where it happened. So while we were in there, we got flashlight responses. Yes, we did. A very stubborn flashlight response. Very, yeah. And in that room, they don't like women. I do not like women. Yep. I got my butt touched. That's right. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. I heard on the recording that maybe Sarah might have had her hair pulled. Maybe. Oh. And I'm sitting in the chair and felt nothing.
And you're jealous. Like,
I'm so jealous. I want it. I pulled my hair down just for that. So we ended up leaving that room, and that's the room that had 3 steps down. And I did not know that. And
right. So if you haven't heard our story before, here it is. There are 3 steps down from the dungeon to the basement.
Cement steps.
Lindsey is second in line, so she gets to see Boydston. Wait. Behind many, many people in front of her.
I demonstrated how to correctly navigate 3 steps.
I thought there was 1 step, not 3.
Right.
So I went down the 1 and thought I was at ground level and walked right off the 2nd step and rolled my left ankle, landed on my face, basically. Like, completely wiped out. These 2 fools laugh at me.
Still do.
These other random people are... Because at this point, you're in, like... You're not in the prisoner of war room. You're in, like, the main part.
It's a big open area.
It's a big open area. They're all like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah.
So from my point of view, I had just navigated successfully 3 steps. Yay, kindergarten!
Successfully.
And
nice job.
I
As
hear this
throbbing.
I hear this noise, just like splat behind me, and I turn around and it's Lindsey. She's just like sprawled out, hair flying everywhere.
Because I had put my hair down
on the floor, and I was like, oh my god, this actually happened. And so I start laughing. I see Sarah just dying.
Because Sarah was behind me and saw it all in slow motion, I'm sure.
Oh, it's the worst case scenario for me. Because I laugh. I've always laughed. And I saw it. And it was like...
Ended up spraining my ankle. I sprained my ankle. It was swollen for how many weeks? Like almost a month. Swollen for at least 3 weeks. That it was huge, like a golf ball. Finally, the swelling has gone down. Like I said, this has been 6 weeks that we're now recording this, and I'm still in an ankle brace. Still swollen. Still cannot run.
She still refuses to see a doctor. It's fine.
I don't want to pay for an x-ray. So, yes, this is the room where I sprained my ankle, and...
A Lindsey bites the dust.
They harmonized that and everything for me. I don't know whether to be, like, offended or a little bit like, oh, they did that for me.
Both. I don't know. It just happened.
Let me also say that this room, because we're in the basement, there's no natural light. It's pitch black, so let me just put that out there, too. Other than flashlights, we couldn't see. Couldn't see the steps.
Also, to add insult to injury, there was a group of people that just looked over and were staring at her.
They were
staring at Sarah and I, just laughing. And then I just felt the need to just make up an excuse for her. I was like, "It's okay. This happens all the time at work."
She did. She said she falls all the time, and I was like, "That's not making me feel better."
So awkward. Like,
have you listened to the recording session of this?
I don't know if we were recording when it happened.
Oh gosh,
I guess TBD.
I can only imagine the recording. If we were recording when this happened, can you please insert the audio of me falling on my face?
You really want that?
Absolutely.
Let's mark this. It's Lindsey like... That's what I imagine it looks like. Or sounds like.
And I have a sprained ankle because of this place, so thank you.
There it was in the dungeon. It was amazing.
Otherwise, let's talk about anything else happened in the dungeon.
So speaking, so there's a room on your right, which is the interrogation room.
Yes.
And then one of the guides took us in the room on the left.
Oh yeah,
because he had an experiment he wanted to try.
Yeah, he wanted us to conduct it while
he did.
My ankle is throbbing. I'm just like, sure, I'll go wherever you want to go, dude.
Which I still think it's weird that he just wanted to try an experiment on 3 random girls, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it worked out. So
that's how people get killed.
We're like, sure.
We were like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So we go into the room. It's pitch black, and he's like, so somebody always gets a panic attack within the first minute of being here.
Yes! I forgot about this room.
Yes.
We're like, oh, I don't want to be part of this experiment.
All like,
oh, yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's great.
And then Sarah and I start feeling like static electricity all over our bodies. And on the recording, I don't know I don't really know what it is. I feel like it's stomach noises. However, I feel like I would have called that out because we're usually really good at calling stomach noises out.
Oh, yeah. I'm
for sure.
amazing at calling out your stomach growling.
All of us are really good.
But nobody called it out, and it's pretty consistent throughout the entire recording during this.
Really?
I don't remember
room.
hearing anything when we were in there.
No, we would have said something.
Same. I don't know. We didn't have a panic attack, but
did you get any kind of anxiety while you were in there?
Might have happened. Just that static electricity feeling.
Sometimes I'm still tuning it in. I don't know what I'm doing.
Can you kind of explain what the static electricity feeling is?
So I don't ever feel that static electricity feeling. That's not one of my things. But I felt like I was standing right next to an electric box with it open, and I was touching it with a fork.
Like your hair was standing on end, or what do you mean? Just because I've never had this feeling, so I want to know.
Like a metal, like if you were holding a metal fork and you were putting it inside an electric outlet. Like I felt like I was almost being shocked.
Like your nerve endings were kind of like at attention?
On edge?
Like on edge, yeah. I don't know how to...
I guess it was just like a full body... It just feels like static.
Okay.
That's why I struggle so much.
I don't know. It's very hard to describe.
And you were feeling the same thing, Sarah?
Yes. Apparently.
Okay.
I don't remember, but I usually don't like fabricate. I'm not like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I get things. But if I feel anything, it's usually like I have a egg crack on the top of my head.
Kind of like a spider webby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then it does feel like your fingers are tingling.
So the last place we went was the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the most uncomfortable that I was.
Yes.
And we kind of talked a little bit about when we were going over the kind of like map of the place.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like this giant boiler room. I guess it's a good way to describe it. It's like a boiler room. Okay. And then there's like a little doorway with like 2 steps down, and that's the long tunnel. There's a little... We eventually debunked this, but Boydson about lost her shit.
I cursed to our dear Lord and Savior.
She stepped across it, and it makes this loud banging sound when you step across it. We didn't know that.
God,
it's like a metal grate.
They need to warn you.
I was so mad I wasn't recording at that exact moment, but all of a sudden she stepped across it and she leaped back onto us and said,
was the worst.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And I was like, what?
I thought that I was being like the cool one leading us into war.
That was awful.
And I step onto this metal grate, and it makes the loudest, echoiest sound ever.
Yeah.
And it's like I put all of my body weight onto it, and it was so loud.
It was so loud.
It was so startling.
The whole room.
Right.
Because like I said, cement. Everything echoes.
Scared the crap out of me.
She
scared all of us.
Flipped out. Yeah, and her reaction made me jump because she never reacts like that.
I don't know.
And so then I went in front and I tried stepping and, doing all these things and reenacting what she was doing. And eventually we debunked it that there's this metal grate. Mm-hmm. And if you step on it just right, it'll make that sound. So debunked. But then we went down to the tunnel.
Yeah, so about halfway down.
And I led us through the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And it's only wide enough for one person.
Scary, actually.
It's wide enough for one person to go. So we were single file line.
Mm-hmm.
And I got freaked out there.
So according to the recording, we felt a draft about halfway through.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then
for sure.
Soon after that, Sarah says, I'm feeling uneasy. And then Lindsey says, something's stopping me from going the rest of the way down there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to go much further. I just don't like it. Fine. I'm sorry, guys. You want to stay here?
I mean, we can keep going.
I heard voices down here. Oh. Shit.
No, that's a nice place.
I felt a draft. Oh, yeah, for sure. I do too. I'm starting to go a little uneasy. Yeah, I don't want to... Something's stopping me from going down there at the very end.
Well, that is the end, I think.
I know, but... As soon as you said I'm getting uneasy, I was like, I don't like it.
Mr. Boots? Are you down here with us?
And then Sarah says, that she sees an orb, like, just with her eyes, not even with a camera.
Right, we weren't taking pictures.
Yeah, so
And
eventually we end up going pretty much all the way down.
Yeah, we do. We go to the end.
And it's a long tunnel. It's pitch black, so I had my flashlight, because I was leading us. I had my flashlight just so we're not tripping over everything, you know?
Right.
Sprained ankle, by the way. And
that she still has not told us about.
No, I still hadn't, because it wasn't hurting yet. And and I've mentioned this before when we talked about, I think we talked about Glore when we went in the tunnels there.
Yeah.
I don't like confined spaces, and I really don't like the dark. I'm okay in the dark if there's like some kind of like window, natural light, something where I can like pick out some kind of light. But when it's pitch black, you can't see the hand in front of your face. I don't like that. And that goes back to my night terror days, being scared of the dark. And like I literally slept with a nightlight until I got married. And so I'm leading the way. I have my flashlight, but still like I kept looking out into the dark and not being able to see anything, not being able to see the end of the tunnel. And I kept saying in the recording, I don't like this. I don't like the dark. I don't like feeling confined, where I knew you guys were behind me, but like the walls are just so probably like what, 3 feet wide?
They're very narrow.
Very narrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we started getting to a point, we didn't even make it all the way to the end. I was just like, I can't go any further. And I don't know if that was my own anxiety playing with me, if that was my own fear of the dark and fear of the enclosed spaces.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. There was a lot of anxieties playing into that. That was sketchy. It was sketchy.
This is where Mr. Boots is.
Yeah.
I don't think we heard any footsteps. Did we?
Not that we didn't hear it with our ears.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I remember when we turned around to go back. So when we turned around to go back, I was in the back at this point.
Yeah.
And I kept my flashlight behind me because I just felt, and I literally looked over my shoulder the entire time because I felt like something or someone was behind me.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't turn my back.
Right.
And so I was walking kind of like sideways where I could keep an eye on behind me with a flashlight. And I just did that the whole way back. So I felt very uncomfortable. I did not like the tunnel.
The tunnel stops because the army or the military still owns.
You're right.
Part of it.
The Army Reserve.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I keep saying that. I don't know if I'm right, but so it just stops about 3/4 of the way through. But so just for anybody listening, that's what it looks like. You like walk down under a tunnel and then you just hit a wall.
Mm-hmm. I think part of the thing is in kind of the preview video, I believe they had showed us that people had gotten pictures of the shadow figure from the tunnels.
Yeah. So just so you know.
And you feel very, I think my anxiety also came from, you feel very separated from everyone else.
That part is definitely true.
Because you're in the very corner of the basement, very far back. You can't hear anybody else in the building.
Yeah, yes, that part is true.
It was very late at night, so most of the people had gone home, and I just was like, what if something happens? Nobody can hear us from here.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of part of the whole experience in general. Like, that's kind of how it should be. You should be there by yourself. And what if nobody's there?
That's the point.
Yeah, and
I did not like the tunnel.
The tunnel is kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say.
What did you guys kind of experience in the tunnel?
It's definitely way sketchier than like Glore tunnel.
Yeah. I felt watched. Like Glore, I felt uneasy, but these tunnels, I felt watched.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually felt more comfortable when we were at the very end.
Like near the cement wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we made it to the end and I was like, I feel fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like halfway through, no thank you.
That's where I started getting it. And I was like, I can't go further.
Yeah.
Until you guys were like, keep going. And I was like, I
Which
can't.
is funny because that's on the recording, that's about where you can hear this kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, there's something stopping me from going down there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because when you're in there, I remember it now. Like you feel like, I remember looking and you just feel like it's never going to end.
Yeah, I couldn't see the end.
It doesn't look like it's going to end.
Even with my flashlight, I couldn't see the end.
It looks like a railroad or something. Mm-hmm. It just is, it's kind of awful looking. Mm-hmm. But once you get to the end, you're like, okay.
And there's these pipes you kind of have to duck sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very, very confined.
Right. Which normally I don't do great with.
Right.
But when we got to the end, I was like, I'm fine. Everything's okay.
But I would agree with that feeling watched statement. The whole way back when I was in the back, I felt like something or someone was watching me. And that's why I was like, I can't take my eyes off behind me.
Yeah.
And walk sideways.
I agree.
And I don't get that feeling very, very often.
Yeah.
I go into rooms by myself, like we said. I went into
Right.
I went into, Petey's room by myself. I went to Prisoner of War's rooms by myself. Like, I'm always going to rooms trying to debunk that are dark, but...
Right.
I did not like the tunnel. Did not feel comfortable down there. I could not wait to get out of there. And that was literally the last thing we did. Like, we left right after that.
We were there a while. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we were there the whole time. But...
Well, we went upstairs, I think, right? Wasn't that the very last
we
place
ended
we
off, I think, at Petey's room for a second, like a second while ago.
No. I'm gonna remember something that you guys don't.
Uh-oh.
We went to the back rooms behind the stage.
We did. We went back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we went to that one bedroom.
Yes. And that's where I got so tired and I was like, I need to go. And Boyson was like, stick it out.
We went to the bedroom because remember earlier that night, we had gone in that bedroom with one of the tour guides, and I went into the closet because they were so loud.
Yeah.
The other people in our group were so loud, and so I went into the closet because I was like, maybe they'll just be quieter in here. And she goes, interesting, you went to the closet. That's where people are drawn. And I was like, maybe because people won't shut up.
Yeah, this lady refers to herself in the first person. Or first person?
First person.
I don't remember. She was just...
Sarah says that.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That's how, Okay. I literally went in the closet to get away from everyone. She's like, people are drawn to the closet. And I was like, are they?
Right. Also, people are loud, so bye-bye.
Yes, we did go there last, and a couple guys came up there with us. Yeah,
they did. And I actually remember feeling kind of sick up there. And maybe it's because it was the end of the night.
It was 3 a.m. It
was 3 a.m. I get like that when I'm super tired.
Right.
I will be the first to admit that, but I did feel like my time is done. We are good, but I gotta go. Anyways... It was a great experience at the Pythian Castle.
It was. Lots of history. We loved it.
It was a great time.
Beautiful place.
It's beautiful. We really do recommend it. If you can, get a private investigation or maybe an investigation with like a lower amount of people. Mm-hmm. You go for it.
It got better, I will say, near the end because people started leaving at around midnight, kind of after the public ghost hunting. And the more serious people stay from midnight to 3 a.m. And so we got a lot of stuff, I think, after that.
Yeah, totally agree. It was a blast, though.
Yeah, we loved it. We would love to go back. I mean...
Definitely.
I feel like we got some good stuff there.
Totally recommend. You guys should totally check it out. Go for it.
Big fans.
Definitely
haunted.
Would recommend. Definitely haunted.
Haunted on the Sarah side. Can't say for sure on the Lindsey side.
Kind of haunted on the Lindsey side.
Lindsey
if not...
sprained her ankle there. That might have been a ghost possession. Kind of like how when you peed your pants.
Okay.
A ghost caused me to fall and twisted my ankle for me.
I'll take it.
Possession spraining.
Possession spraining.
# possession spraining.
So if you guys would like, you can always follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the YouTube at The Tipsy Ghost. And you can always find us at thetipsyghost@gmail.com as well if you want to send us your stories or if you have recommendations for a place for us to go ghost investigate. We would love to hear your recommendations.
And we would love to go.
Yeah.
We now have a Patreon, so if you feel it in your hearts to just give us a little, maybe $5, $10, $20 a month, whatever. We have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/thetipsyghost. We would be forever grateful.
And your money goes towards helping us go ghost hunting.
Yeah.
And in return, you get to see a bunch of embarrassing photos.
Mainly of Lindsey.
Also, you get more than that. You get first dibs on merch. You get a bunch of things. It's not just embarrassing photos. And if you've enjoyed what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating and a great review on Apple Podcasts.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you guys next week. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.